excursion.
Hey, Fahad, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Ray. It's good to be with you again.
Yeah, great to have you on as well. So, President Biden was in your country. Tell us what you can tell us.
Right. So I think the fact that President Biden chose to visit Saudi Arabia on his first trip to the region is a testament to the importance and to the strength of the bilateral relationship. As I think I said on the show before, this is a long-standing relationship that goes back 80 years. During that time, not only has it endured, but it's continued to kind of strengthen and broaden and to deepen under both Republican and Democratic administrations. In many ways, it's multidimensional. So there's political cooperation, security, military cooperation, as well as economic cooperation. All of these elements were obviously discussed during the meetings that the leaders had. But in addition, I think in some ways, the meeting also set the stage for hopefully the next 80 years of cooperation by looking at some of the new challenges that we face together, and not just together, but the international community. So I'm talking about climate change, food security, pandemics, and all of these issues were not only discussed, but there were 18 different agreements dealing with some of these challenges signed over the weekend as well.
So obviously one of the things that came out of the meeting was a bit of a controversy. I don't know how much you can address it, but I'm going to ask you. President Biden swears up and down that he confronted, that was his word, the Crown Prince over journalist Jamal Khashoggi. A spokesperson out of your nation said it didn't happen. What can you tell us? Or can you tell us anything?
Right, so it's my understanding, and certainly according, we have a couple of senior officials who were at the meeting who've spoken about this at length at this point, so I'll just kind of summarize what they've said. They said that the issue of the murder of Jamal Khashoggi did come up, and His Royal Highness said what we have been saying now for 3 years, that this was a heinous crime. It was a violation of not only our laws, but also our values. The people behind it were arrested, prosecuted, and sentenced to lengthy prison sentences. We also undertook some concrete measures to make sure something like this never happens again. And I think it is worth noting that this is simply not who we are. It's not how we do things, and that's indicative by the fact that it's never happened in our history, and we're certain it won't happen again.
According to President Biden, the Crown Prince said that he had nothing to do with it. As you may know, I'm sure you know, President Biden released classified information early in the year saying that he ordered it, but according to President Biden, the Crown Prince said he had nothing to do with it, but you prosecuted those who did. How do you respond to that? The Crown Prince said he had nothing to do with it. Biden releases a classified document, says that he did. Where does all that go, Fahad?
Right, so the classified document was an assessment. It was not based on any concrete evidence. We rejected it from the get-go. We said this was a faulty assessment. I think that it does not, to me, in my reading of it, it seems to misunderstand certainly the kind of relationship that our leadership has with the Saudi citizens at large. This relationship is based on mutual respect and a sense of common purpose. And again, if you look at our 90-year history, there's a reason we've never had anything like that happen, because it's just not the kind of relationship that our leadership has with Saudi citizens.
Okay, let's move on from that, because that's really more of a dispute amongst the governments. What is something that affects pretty much all the people on the planet is President Biden was hoping that you all might produce more oil. President Emmanuel Macron at I think it was a G7 summit, told him in an off-mic moment that we just all happened to be able to catch, that you all are pretty much at peak capacity. It's our understanding, again, I don't know what the truth is, which is why I'm asking you, that was pretty much what the president was told, that Saudi Arabia is pretty much at peak capacity. Where does all this stand? Because if you all aren't producing more oil and the president won't allow the American companies to produce more oil, we're going to have a demand that cannot meet, that supply cannot meet.
Right. So Saudi Arabia has long played a central role in stabilizing international energy markets. I think we did this for many years through our membership in OPEC. More recently, we've been doing it through our membership in OPEC Plus. And I think there's an expectation among both oil producers as well as consumers for Saudi Arabia to lead, and we have embraced this leadership position. I think that the OPEC Plus agreement that was reached in April of 2020 has proven to be effective, and it's also proven to be fairly flexible in the sense that it has stipulations that allow the producers to change their production levels based on market fundamentals. We believe that the crude oil market is fairly balanced. However, if you look at some of the tweets that have been coming out of the White House itself, there's a confluence of factors here. There's obviously global inflation all around impacting energy prices as well. There's a shortage of refining capacity worldwide. There's a shortage of investment in oil infrastructure, but also the gasoline prices are, at least according to the White House, are off. They are not in line with crude prices. So, but we're doing everything we can, and this is an ongoing conversation that we're having, not just with our OPEC Plus partners, but also with the United States.
Let me ask you this, Fahad. We're speaking with Fahad Nazer, who's a spokesperson for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. President Biden just returned from a trip from there. We know we have a refinery issue. We haven't built a refinery in this country in decades. President Biden says he is determined, and we are transitioning off fossil fuels to some mythological energy resource that currently doesn't exist, so I don't know what we're transitioning to. Will it stop you all from building refineries and doing those kinds of things, knowing that the ideological push in this country is to abandon oil?
Right. So Saudi Arabia is fully committed to safeguarding our planet. We have fully embraced sustainable development. We do take climate change very seriously. That's why we're investing heavily in the development of renewable energy, especially solar and wind. We have also embraced what we call the circular carbon economy, which basically allows you to reduce, recycle, reuse, and remove carbon emissions. And can do both. We can ease this transition to cleaner energy by investing in renewables, but the way to do it gradually and so as not to create a lot of economic dislocation globally is also to embrace some of these newer technologies related to reducing carbon emissions to produce cleaner hydrocarbons. So if you do a little bit of both, I think it sets us up for a soft landing, as they say.
While your country has certainly embraced this idea of a diversified economy, still your economy is heavily dependent on oil. Are you concerned about the future where if the Biden administration and the Democrats continue to be in power here, they will push us off fossil fuels? They're doing everything they can here. They're stopping the production of oil in America. Oil producers in this country, such as Chevron, are saying that the Biden administration would get the boot off of their neck. They could produce more oil. Does it concern you long term that this move by America, the greatest consumer of oil in the world, moves off of oil permanently?
So we think of ourselves now as an energy producer, not simply as a crude producer. I think we will continue, I know we will continue to produce crude oil for the foreseeable future because we have a comparative advantage in producing it. We have some of the world's biggest reserves. We also have some of the most economical crude to produce. We continue to find more resources in both conventional as well as unconventional sources of both oil as well as gas. So we'll continue to do that going forward. At the same time, as I said, we are also developing solar, wind. We're producing green hydrogen. So I think we can do both. It doesn't have to be either or, to be honest, and that's the way we see it.
Okay. One last question. We're talking with Fahad Nazer. He's a spokesperson for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Last time you were on, we talked about NEOM. I want to just hear an update on it. I am so fascinated by this development of this city. I guess the investment initially is $500 billion. It's going to stretch along the river, I think 63 miles. It's just a fascinating development to me. Where is it now?
So So things are moving along nicely, Neom, and as I said, maybe I said last time, if I didn't, I'll say it now, but we are actually one of the very exciting developments currently already well underway is this, what I believe to be the world's biggest plant for the production of green hydrogen. It's a joint venture between a U.S. and a Saudi company. So that's one of the things that are already in place. And as you probably know, Ray, NEOM itself has the potential not only to become a hub for researchers and entrepreneurs, but it's located right on the Red Sea, so it certainly has the potential to become a global tourist destination. So I think it's a very unique project, and it really shows us that we can live in complete harmony with nature, interestingly enough, by employing some of the world's most advanced technologies, and that's exactly what we're doing there.
Yeah, I'm just fascinated by the project. If it is built out the way that it's been proposed, I think it will become the cultural hub for the Middle East, which is fascinating. I said river, I meant Red Sea. Forgive me for that, but
no worries.
We had talked about it last time. Hey, Fahad, I always appreciate you being on. I appreciate your candor. I know sometimes there are things you just can't say because it's not your role to say them, but I do appreciate you being candid with the things you can say, and it's always great to have you on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ray, and obviously I've been on your show many times. I always enjoy it. I'm beginning to feel a little like Alec Baldwin on Saturday Night Live, but that's fun.
I think we're close to maybe like 5 years of you doing this because you were on here celebrating the 75th anniversary of when your king met with FDR back in, I think it was 44 or something like that. So you've been on. Yeah, it's been a while. You've been on, so we appreciate it. It's always insightful.
It's always my pleasure, Ray. Thank you.